Why are there so many songs about rainbows, and what's on the other side? When I was a baby, my dad recorded me a CD of all the songs that would calm me down enough to go to sleep, and the Rainbow Connection from the Muppet movie was one of them. I would imagine that most of you have heard that song before, but I think it's important that you know where it came from too. And it's all because of a man named Jim Henson. Jim Henson was a visionary puppeteer, the creator of the Muppets, and he revolutionized children's entertainment, leaving a lasting legacy of creativity and inspiration that continues to inspire dreamers today. If there are any dreamers in the audience right now, I hope this story will encourage you to chase your passions. So today we'll be looking at Jim Henson's childhood and school life, the pivotal points in his career, including the development of the Muppets, and his legacy today. Let's take it back to the very beginning. Henson was born in September of 1939 in a town called Greenville, Mississippi, and he grew up in another town called Leland. It was here that he visited his grandmother, Dear, very often, who encouraged him to use his imagination and supported his interest in puppetry. Here's a photo of baby Jim Henson, and there's another one with him and his grandmother, Dear. In the 5th grade, Henson's family moved to Maryland, and this is where he really began to get into TV. At the age of 15, he joined the puppetry club at his high school, which was more of a side hobby at the time because his main focus was getting into TV. During his senior year, there was a TV station that was searching for somebody to manipulate marionettes for a 5-minute children's program called the Junior Morning Show. He was willing to do anything to break into the world of television, so he applied and he got the job. He ended up really enjoying his work there, which led him to become more interested in the profession of puppeteering. During Henson's freshman year at the University of Maryland, he was given the opportunity to create his own puppetry show. So he developed a show called Sam and Friends alongside his future wife, Jane Nabel. The show ran from 1955 to 1961, and it featured an earlier version of Kermit the Frog. Here's a photo of Jim and Jane with the earlier version of Kermit. He and Jane achieved massive success with Sam and Friends, which led Henson to realize his dream was Muppets, entertainment for everybody. So he and Jane founded Muppets Incorporated. This is where his career as the man behind the Muppets began. Let's look into it. In 1963, Henson began work with a young puppeteer named Frank Oz, who would later go on to become the voice of Fozzie Bear, Miss Piggy, and other Muppets. Together, they developed Rolf the dog. Rolf was the first Muppet character to be nationally known. He made a regular appearance on a variety show called The Jimmy Dean Show, and this led Henson and his puppets to national recognition. This opened the door for Henson to be approached by a TV producer who asked Henson to help him create puppets for a show set to premiere in 1969 called Sesame Street. Henson accepted the job, and it was a massive success. According to the Jim Henson Company website, which features biographies of all of their founders, including Jim, the success of the puppets that Henson created for Sesame Street demonstrated the Muppets' undeniable appeal to children. But Jim believed that the Muppets were made for something bigger. This is where he had the idea for the Muppet Show. He pitched the idea for years and years and was continuously rejected until a producer from London agreed to back the show. So production began in England, and the show premiered in 1976. Here is a clip of the original Muppet Show theme song. Biography.com, a website that features information about a variety of individuals, shares that the Muppet Show reached a staggering 235 million viewers in over 100 countries. The success of the Muppet Show led Henson to Hollywood, where the Muppets starred in 6 feature films. One of these films, Muppet Babies, was awarded 4 consecutive Emmys for Outstanding Animated Program. Jim Henson went on to create many more various puppetry works for film and TV, including The Dark Crystal and Fraggle Rock. But all of a sudden, at the age of 53, Jim Henson passed away in New York after coming down with pneumonia, which led to organ failure. Prior to his death, Henson was in negotiations with the Disney Company to sell his rights to the Muppets. The deal was finalized after his death in 2003, which led to the future production of more Muppet movies and films under the Disney name. His final project was actually the direction of an attraction that still stands today at Walt Disney World's Hollywood Studios, and that is Muppet Vision 3D, a short film that guests can go watch while they're visiting the park. Even though Henson died too young, his legacy is still widely known today. Muppets Incorporated, which has since been renamed the Jim Henson Company, kept working on puppetry projects after his death, and the Muppets have still been featured in TV and film under the Disney name. Jim and Jane also had 5 children. One of their sons, Brian, followed their footsteps and became a puppeteer himself. He has puppeted many of the Muppets for various projects. He was given the opportunity to be the principal puppeteer for Audrey 2 and the film Little Shop of Horrors, and he took over Jim Henson's Creature Shop, a special effects company that creates puppets and animatronics for film, TV, and theater. Brian J. Jones is an American biographer that wrote Jim Henson, the Biography, a detailed book published in 2003 that explores every part of Jim Henson's life. To share a quote from the book, "And while all of the Muppet performers were especially good with children, most agree that it was Kermit that people believed in and trusted completely, mostly because they completely believed in and trusted Jim Henson. Jim, and therefore Kermit, had a natural sweetness, a reassuring patience, and a willingness to indulge in silliness, and the resulting interaction could be pure magic. This same magic can still be experienced today through the many Muppet works that you can stream, and Henson's impact on modern entertainment can be seen all around the world." To wrap things up, you can now leave here knowing a little bit more about Jim Henson's childhood, his career, and his legacy. Henson's journey from a curious child to the mastermind behind the Muppets demonstrates the power of creativity and perseverance. His work has brought joy to countless generations and reminded us all of what can happen when we dare to dream. Think back to the Rainbow Connection, and remember that behind every beloved character is a story waiting to inspire, just as Jim Henson continues to inspire us today. Someday we'll find it, the Rainbow Connection. The lovers, the dreamers, and me.